The manufacturer is in Brunswick. The company's in California, but so they were able to come and get it and they're going to repair it.
Thank you for waiting. We are live and
Okay.
welcome to start the meeting.
Okay. This is the April 7th meeting of the Parks Commission. We have many items on our agenda today, so plan it being a long meeting. And Greta, I know you have to leave at 9. She needs to get her vaccine, so.
Oh, good.
We're
Great.
gonna, yeah, you're gonna feel so much better.
Yeah, yes, you will. You will.
Okay, the first item on our agenda is to approve the minutes that were written for the meetings on March 3rd and 17th. Approve both of those at the same time? Or do they have to be approved separately?
Separately.
Okay, then I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes of March 3rd, 2021. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so those are approved. And then the short meeting that we had for the Rubber Duck event on March 17th, I'd like to make a motion we approve that set of minutes as well.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so that's done. So now we want to talk about the carnival. I don't know if there's anyone from the J.C.'s here or not. Christy, is there anyone from the J.C.'s here?
Yes, I see Jeff Poprick on the line. Would you like me to invite him to the conversation?
Yeah, I think that's only fair.
If there are any other members in attendance who'd like to speak to the Blossom Time Park event application, please raise your hand in Zoom so I can invite you to the conversation. Jeff, once you come online, it takes a moment. There you are. Never mind.
Yeah, Sean McMillian, the president of the JC, should also be joining us. He should be on here, I believe.
I don't see him on yet, but I'll keep an eye out for him.
Okay.
Okay, I would like to conduct this as a 3-part discussion, but before we do that, I just wonder, I was looking at the numbers of people that you anticipate coming, between 50,000 and 100,000 people.
That's how it's all, that is a number we've used throughout a full weekend, including a parade and everything like that. It'll be much less than that this year is my guess. And
that's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah. That actually was taken from the previous application. I apologize. So
Okay.
I don't have a predictor. Unfortunately we don't. I would love to say it'd be 100,000 for the money and everything like that, but we don't unfortunately have a way to predict exactly what it'll be.
So you need to polish up your crystal ball.
If I did, I'd have the winning lottery numbers, wouldn't I?
Okay, the first thing, I'd like to start with the easiest things first so we can get those done. My first question has to do with the Taste of Chagrin, which is Sunday, October 17th, or that whole weekend. And are you aware that the farmers market is happening at that same time? On Sunday, October 17th. It goes through the whole month of October.
I was not aware of that. We could adjust if we need to. If we need to maybe have the taste be, so obviously you're shutting down the street anyway for a Sunday. Maybe we have just have it on Saturday, all day Saturday, and maybe we have them actually there Friday evening as well, like Friday evening, and we can bump it forward, assuming that the village will be okay with that, and shutting that street down on Friday afternoon instead of, Friday morning instead of Saturday or Friday night. And that way we could get that extra half day that'll keep the vendors happy as well. Okay. And then that way it's already shut down for you as well for Sunday. So that, our guys, or the vendors would pull out on Saturday night. And if there was a spot, maybe they could even, if there's a spot available, maybe they could have one of the vendors, if they want to stay for Sunday, they can maybe be part of it as well and help out with the farmers market.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't gone to that in a while, but I think it's pretty well occupied, isn't it?
Yeah, and also the Valley Arts Center, I think they might have an application today.
They do,
unless
but it goes through October 10th, I think. So That
It's for
shouldn't
the
be a
previous
problem.
week. Yeah.
Yeah, the Valley Arts Center just goes through October 10th. So I guess, so you're willing to just have it Friday night and Saturday?
For the taste, yes. We can do
Yeah,
that.
okay. So the next thing I'd like to discuss is the carnival ride concerns. I know that, and I watched the council meeting last time, and you said that the rides would be coming in on Tuesday. But the thing is, what about the installation of the snow fences? That's usually on Saturday before Blossom. And we don't want to be interrupting the Chagrin Documentary Film Festival, which will still be going on through Sunday of that weekend.
It's a great question. We can, at that point, obviously speaking for, I would just have to get a bevy of volunteers. I mean, it's about 10 to 15 guys that end up putting that up anyway. If it's going to be a question of having not having the fence up until Tuesday morning when they start bringing rides, and we can get a group of guys down there on Tuesday to get the fence up as well. Not going to
Okay,
let that
so
prevent us
yeah,
from doing
I mean,
something.
even if they did it on Monday, that'd be fine. It's just,
Yeah, we could do it Monday evening. I mean, that doesn't make, we wouldn't have to worry about people working on Monday if we did a Monday evening, Monday
Yeah.
after work at 5 o'clock or whatever.
that would be fine.
Yeah.
Because we just don't want to encroach on the Documentary Film Festival.
What time that ends on Sunday? What time on Sunday? Do we know?
I think they have a closing ceremony around 6 o'clock or so.
Oh, okay. And then Monday after work, it would be fine.
Okay. That's great. So Monday after work.
What does the fencing actually do for you guys? I can't think of is there a specific reason the fencing goes up?
It's part of it is crowd control, as well as, we don't want people going in through the back of the library, and the police, we've always had it through, the police have always had us wanting to keep the park kind of closed off in that whole back area, as well as keeping the walkway clear so that people can, if they want to continue to enjoy the walkway without going into Blossom, they can do that.
I gotcha. Okay.
Or the
Trust me,
backyards of
if I
people's
could
homes.
get rid of the snow fence, because it is a pain to put up and it's a pain to take down, and I would love to do that, but I understand the reasoning.
Okay, thank you. So that
Yeah.
will be a big help. And then at the council meeting, you said the rides would start coming in to the park on Tuesday. Do you
Correct.
know that for sure?
Yes.
Okay, because in 2019, they came in on Sunday. And I only know that because I keep track of those kinds of things since I live right next to the park.
Right. Well, they didn't come into the park on Sunday. They came to Snavely's, let us use their back parking lot, and we stored them there. But being that this is not not our normal time, it's a wonderful October time instead of our normal Blossom Memorial Day weekend. They're actually coming from a different event where they're coming all the way from, and I apologize, I don't remember exactly what city they're coming from, but it's a fair they're coming from, and I don't think they're even done until late Sunday night. So they would not be in. At the very worst case, they're coming into Snavely's parking lot on Monday, and then whenever we tell them to come into the park is when they'll be there.
Okay, so there won't be any conflict with the Chagrin Documentary Film Festival. That was my concern.
Nope.
Great. And finally, I'm curious to know about McCausland Landscape because we've never had them before. Have they been to the park to see what it looks like right now?
That's actually who did in 2019.
Oh, they did?
Yep. That's who we contracted with for 2019. We had not had a good experience in the past few years before that. And then he came in, he actually had worked for the previous company and he started his own.
So he'd been with Frank Artino?
Yes. And then he had started his own, and he had done, I feel he did a very good job. And I don't know if anybody else wants to comment on that. I think it was a lot better than the previous years.
What did you think, John?
John might have a comment.
You're muted.
I know. I'm going.
Okay.
You know, it all depends on the year to year. It depends on if it's real wet or what. That's all up to Mother Nature and how, and I don't want to, it's nothing on the JCs. How destroyed does it get, you know, because weather plays a fact. I mean, in the last couple of years, yes, it has been, the landscaping has gotten better, but we need to get it healthier before this event as well and all the other events. So that's what we're trying to do this year as well.
So
One
you're
of
going to
that-
be
that-
working on, I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that's one of the things that they had brought up. The landscape company had brought up that, you know, it does help. Actually, the time of year, having this in October, it's a better time to plant grass than when they actually plant it in technically in June, because in June you have to keep it very wet, and the heat is not the best thing for the germination of the grass.
Mhm.
So that's why he kind of gave that document with my application.
Mhm.
So
So are you okay with this, John?
Yeah, I mean, again, I mean, it could be beautiful. They could not rut it up at all. It could just be foot traffic, or it could be soaking wet. So
Mhm. But do you think there'll be enough time for it to heal in time for the next year?
yeah, I mean, it will start growing. I mean, again, it's all weather dependent, you know.
Mhm.
I planted grass in October and it started coming up and it was fine in the spring.
Okay,
So
well, good. Maybe we'll have an even better experience this time.
exactly.
I don't want to change permanently to October, please. Volunteer wise,
No.
Memorial Day weekend works a lot better for us.
Yeah, for all of us too.
Yeah.
Especially the kids, because, you know, by that time of the year, the teachers are pretty much given up. And, you know, in the fall, they're trying to gear things up, so. But it'll work out. Okay, the last big thing we want to talk about is the sale of alcohol.
Mhm.
And I've done a little research on this, and I know that in the Chagrin ordinances, number 951.05, it prohibits the sale of alcohol of any kind in any Chagrin Falls park. So we have to abide by our laws on that one.
Okay. There's no right way around that or anything, even if we have an F permit that allows that.
I think the concern is that if we allow one group to do it, then how can we say no to another group? And it's something we do not want to start in the parks.
Okay, so with us, we obviously, you see as part of the application, we had put in there that we would have tips trained bartenders, as well as, I think, by the way, Sean, oh no, it says it won't let him in for some reason. It keeps asking him for a meeting ID separate from what he's been part of. He texted me, sorry. I don't know why.
You want to give me Sean's number real quick and I'll give him a call and get him on the meeting?
Yes, that'd be great. Hang on a second. Sorry, it's on. Back in the day when everybody knew everybody's phone number, right?
Right.
216-375-0498. And now that this
Give
is
him a
public
call.
record, everybody's going to call Sean, right?
Yep.
Anyway, so the whole point, and actually, this is one of the reasons I want to have Sean on here. We had a conversation with our legal person as well, our legal consultant yesterday, and having a conversation about this. And not necessarily about, obviously 951.05, but in the fact that, as you talked about, setting the precedent for other groups to come in. Correct. We actually would be setting a precedent for the high standards we're setting for it, having a $7,500 big top tent that no one else is going to spend the money for. So if another organization is going to come in, it's a large undertaking. Oh, there's Sean. That was fast. So having a big top 10, having tips trained servers, having the amount of security that we're going to have, spending the money to have the $5 million bond or, liability bond. If another group is willing to do that, and it brings in the additional revenue that, like, for instance, we're looking to try and do, where we've had, no Blossom now for a year and a half, technically for a year and a half. trying to refill the coffers to be able to continue to support the local charities as well as the village and other avenues that we get asked for money all the time. It's not like we're a for-profit, we're a nonprofit. We're trying to continue to grow that amount of money as much as possible. We have recently merged our former, where we had a foundation and then kind of like the actives and non-actives. We've merged that all into one, and we're really trying to bring this foundation to a point where it's fully endowed. We look at having the beer tent, if you will, if you want to call it that, as being a avenue for, you know, if you, obviously you, Ann, you had said you live next to the park or near the park and you watch the rides come in, you also see, I'm sure, the tons and tons of parents that literally pull up and drop their kids off and don't even come into the park. So what we're trying to do is include those parents and bring
Right.
it more than just the little kids running, not little kids, but the 10 to 18-year-olds running around, A, most likely not spending money, and B, you know, causing havoc, whatnot. Whereas if we're able to bring the parents into the park, have them be in the big top tent while the kids run around and do whatever, I think that it's an opportunity to bring it as more of an inclusive event, as well as potentially bring more revenue is what we're looking to do. The second part of that, having the big top tent, and I know Nancy had commented on this during our the council meeting. We had talked about, and I believe I put in the application as well, having our DSA event the night before on Wednesday night. It would not be a private event. It actually, I was not able to convey this in the council meeting, but it actually would be a Distinguished Service Awards, by the way, for those who have not been part of that before. I believe I know, John, I know you've been there, and Rob, I believe you've been there as well. And you're all invited. You're all welcome to come. It is a ticketed event. We do charge to get in, but it is where we do hand out a good portion of our donations for the year, as well as awards to, you know, a Distinguished Service Award winner in the community, someone who's been an outstanding volunteer or donated service of their time over their lifetime, as well as a few JC awards. But we look at that as being able to be a fundraiser to help get to the point of us endowing a foundation. So I want to make sure that people you know, I know it was during the council meeting, it was said that that was a private event. It's not a private event. All are welcome. It would just be a pay event. You obviously have to.
Well, it is a ticketed event. Is that right? You have
Correct.
to pay to get in, right?
Correct.
And that's something that we don't permit in the parks.
Okay. No way around that either, I'm assuming.
I mean, you could do it, you know, maybe you could probably rent Township Hall and do it there. But we don't permit somebody closing off a portion of the park. And even if they sell tickets to everybody, to the general public, having a ticketed event like that in the park.
What is the reasoning behind that?
We just don't have private, it's still considered a private event because you have to pay for it. And we don't have people paying for use of the park.
I believe
Walling off.
Shakespeare in the park.
Somebody to wall off, you're asking to wall off, yeah, tent is.
I mean, we would have their tent open if someone wanted to, for instance, the food and beverage in there would be, yeah, you have to, it's a ticket event for that, so for the pay side of it.
Right.
But if it's a question of having it walled off, no, we won't have it walled. We can leave the tent. We can put so people could see in, they could be part of it.
People could walk in there, just randomly walk in, even if they didn't pay.
I could set it up. We could set it up where the only way to get food and beverage is with a wristband. We could set that up.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be flexible to be able to continue to gain money
Again,
for our
I'm just, you know, I'm just one vote. And it's not the type of event that we permit in the park, because again, it sets a precedent for other people to want to do the same kind of thing. And we don't have events where you're walling off or sectioning off a portion of the park and requiring a ticket, wristband, whatever you want to call it, to get into that park.
So Shakespeare in the Park, that was I believe, a chargeable event a couple years ago.
There was no charge for that. Absolutely no charge. And there was an orchestra concert there a while back but first of all, it only took up the space that the orchestra was sitting on, but there was no charge for it. I think the JC's helped with that. It was maybe 4 or 5 years ago, but it was not a tent set up.
Well, keep in mind, the Big Top tent
There's
takes
no
up a
charge.
very small portion of the park.
I'm just one vote. That's my opinion.
Were you planning to sell alcohol or have alcohol at that event?
That would have been the plan, yes.
Mhm.
Again, going back to, I'd be more than happy to keep it as an open forum. Anybody wants to come in, but if anybody wanted to be part of the food and beverage, we would wristband them, and they would have to pay for that, obviously.
I would
So-
recommend that you guys actually try and get pass through council, maybe DORA, which is a designated outdoor recreation area, the whole part of downtown. And then that's what Hudson does. So I would try and get DORA in with that whole participation of all of the restaurants and bars in town. So you might want to really look at that, see if that you can get that past council, I would tell you.
I spoke to Aaron Grube about that,
Yeah,
and it seems like there's a lot of policy that needs to be set in place in order for a DORA to be an actual organized structure inside the city.
is there time to do that or not, you think, Sean?
I'm sorry.
Is there time to do that, to get that implemented? or not?
I from what it was purveyed to me is that it seems that it would take a lot longer than the time that we have between now and when we are planning on having our blossom.
Really? Huh. Okay, I'm not that familiar with it, but I just.
I'm not either, but it seemed like it was going to take a while and a lot of hoops needed to be jumped through.
I think that's your best bet. And because I know that obviously Nancy's the law director for Chagrin. I mean, you guys have talked to the law director about having alcohol in the park.
Yes, we did.
Okay,
We did.
and that's written down as a bylaw, I guess, on the Parks Commission.
It's not a bylaw. It's a village.
Code.
Ordinance.
Well, I personally am not in favor of alcohol at all for any of these events. I think we need to abide by our codes. And also the fact that we don't allow private events in the park, any park. So we need to make a motion to recommend some of this to council. Are we ready to do that? Does anyone have anything else they want to say? Jeff, do you have anything?
I mean, I've said everything at that point, and you've already said no. So, Sean, do you have anything that you want to say?
I think their decision's already been made, so.
I think we have another Jeff, actually.
Yeah, I was asking
Well-
Jeff
He
Opperman.
wishes to, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it sounded, Blossom features the sale of food. So the wristband idea seemed like consistent with, you pay money to get food and to be part of that part of the event. It seems like there's some things that there are obvious workarounds or potential workarounds, and there's some things that are going to run straight into what seems like a very strict, it's part of the ordinances. But I think some of this could be worked around.
Greta?
Yeah, thanks, Ann. I was just going to agree that I feel like the private event, it's true that those aren't allowed, but perhaps the wristband option is a compromise, is a workaround. And then, right, I agree with Nancy and Jeff and Ann that the ordinance is pretty clear about the alcohol for the actual Blossom event. And the precedent set, so.
Okay, so I would like to make a motion to recommend to council that we allow the Taste of Chagrin except for Sunday, that the carnival rides can go on as usual. The landscaping will be fine. But we do not want to recommend the sale of alcohol. So would anyone,
In the private event,
right, in the private event?
ticketed event.
So
Well,
I'd like
but-
to make a motion that we allow the certain things that I just mentioned, but disallow the sale of alcohol or a private event. Would somebody like to second that?
Yeah, second.
All in favor?
I just want
I-
to, oh, sorry, I just wanted to clarify when the private event issue seems like we're saying no to anything. So I just wanted to, it seems like there's some nuance there actually. So I don't know how we phrase that in this, or if we decouple it from the rest of the motion.
We have 2 items that we are voting on, Ann?
But if it's a private ticketed event and we don't permit those anywhere.
Okay, so we can say no to that, but bring something back to the table that we can look at, i.e.
Something
wristband.
different if they had a different proposal.
Okay,
Is there no way to do it on the fly? We have to have another proposal. I mean, at this point, where each month we're going by to try and be part of this, it takes an incredible amount of time for the volunteers to put this together. I want to
Yeah, are you
stress that
saying
as much as possible.
Are you saying that if you don't have that ticketed event, you're not going to have Blossom?
I'm not necessarily saying that, but I'm saying that this is an event that we potentially could raise, I don't know, $100,000. That is an incredible amount of money that we would be able to bring back to the local community. It would help towards endowment of a
But
foundation.
are you
So that's
saying,
what I'm saying. It's a huge opportunity for this to be part of Blossom Time.
are you saying that if you can't have that ticketed event, that you wouldn't be able to do this Blossom event?
I'm not saying that. I'm letting you know I'm extremely disappointed if that's the case, if you're not willing to look at a workaround like Jeff was saying.
Well, this was never in your application either.
I understand. I didn't know that it was illegal to have a private event. At that point, I said, much like Jeff was talking about, we brought it up here. Let's figure a way out around it. If I need to wristband it where it's separate and everybody and their brother wants to come in, they can certainly do that. They just would not be able to get food or drink.
I would recommend that too, is for workaround, try to get it to, at least recommend it to council, see where they go with it.
I agree with that. I feel that since this was kind of new, this private party issue, and the J.C.'s didn't really have a sense that that wasn't going to be allowed, it seems fair to give them a chance to, within a timely manner, to come up with a workaround.
So Nancy, do they need to write another application for this?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
And they can clarify
It's not
that.
in this application,
So
At
they can
all.
amend it.
I suppose, yeah.
Yeah. And
They don't mention it at all. I think the only reason we know about it is that they brought it up at council.
there-
Right, that's true.
and can I make a point?
Yes,
It is mentioned in their application. It does say at their yearly Distinguished Service Awards banquet that's mentioned. It doesn't give any details about when that would be held or any specifics of that. So, if you could ask for further information or clarification and amend their application and add that into it, because it is kind of vague in the application. So you're welcome to do that if you find that fitting.
okay, so, but for today, we can at least make a recommendation to council to approve the Taste of Chagrin, the carnival rides,
Well, we
and the
did,
other events that you're having too, like,
we did have a motion and a second.
Mhm.
Did we have a second?
Yes, I
Okay,
seconded.
so let's make sure we know what the motion is. Okay, so we're recommending to council that we allow the Taste of Chagrin, except for on Sunday, the carnival rides and some sort of modified event in the big top tent, but no sale of alcohol.
With the use of wristbands.
No,
Excuse me?
and there's, I go back over, I'm sorry, what big top tent?
Well, that's where they're going to have the Distinguished Service Awards.
Well, we're not approving that. We're not approving that at all. We're not approving the sale of alcohol anyplace.
No,
That's a separate item from the Distinguished Service event. And if they, if they want to have, they have just put together some kind of a written proposal and bring it to council when council reviews this application.
so would that be next Monday,
Yeah, I guess we have council.
the
meeting.
12th?
Yeah.
That's your next meeting.
But the proposed
Okay.
workaround to me just seems like it's a food, it's a different way of buying food. You go into Blossom and you can be buying, gyros over there or buying this over there, and this is a come here and pay for this, and you get a wristband, and then it gives you access to a different type of food. I'm not even sure if it needs to be a proposal. I mean, I don't know the laws
Except-
here.
Well, the difference though is that this is a tent setup, and people are going to be seated in that tent, and they're having exclusive use of that.
We will have no tables in there. We can make it a walk around.
Okay,
Where you're-
here's the thing, please, write something up, because it isn't in your, write something up and bring it to council. So, I mean, I don't think that we're in a position to actually debate the details of it. It really would be helpful if you'd, write something up, what would work for you, and, try to work something out that way.
Okay, where would I submit this? I would submit it to.
You could submit it to our office at Village Hall and we'll send it out.
Okay.
Jeff, this is Christy Holmes. You have my email address. Feel free to
Yeah.
send it to me and I'll get it to everyone important who needs to see it.
I mean, I'm assuming I don't need to fill out the full. I could fill out just basically a written page.
I can
That's
email
full to add to this.
Yeah.
Addendum to your event application.
That wonderful.
Okay, but for today, can we at least vote on recommending Taste of Chagrin, the carnival rides? But no alcohol,
And no sale of alcohol.
right? So could someone second that?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'm going to abstain on that.
Oh, how many did we get? Nancy and Greta? Are you in favor?
Yes.
Okay. And Todd is abstaining. Jeff?
Aye.
Okay. So we have decided that we will recommend to council that the Taste of Chagrin and the carnival rides may go ahead, but not the sale of alcohol. And Jeff Poprick will make a new amended application to council for Monday.
Right, with the
Okay.
understanding that wouldn't have to come back to us. Like, once it goes to council, they'll discuss that part of it.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff, and thank you, Sean. Okay, we have a number of other applications to discuss. The next one is the Chagrin Valley Toastmasters. They're celebrating their 50th anniversary. They want to have speeches in Triangle Park, and after that, move to Riverside Park where they want to have cake and celebrate. This sounds like a reasonable request. Does anybody have any questions about it?
Well, I have a question about the insurance question.
They don't have any money. So I think that that's been waived.
By who? I mean, I guess I just have some questions about it because who decides to waive it? What would be the basis of waiving it? And I know that it's been an issue before with some organizations.
We haven't officially waived it. We've had some discussion internally. We haven't reached a final decision on that yet. I know we had some initial thoughts on that.
I mean, I just wonder who would have the authority to waive it and what would be the basis for waiving it?
Those are good questions. We haven't had that issue come up.
Yeah, right.
So
So
where
I mean,
does this,
the way you look at it is what are they using in the park that would require the insurance? Are they using any of our facilities? What's the difference between this and a normal gathering of people?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to,
I know, and that's the thing. These are the things that we're looking at as we
debate that
analyze.
issue, but I'm just, it is just a question. And
Right.
so, I mean, we really need to be consistent in our rules. It can't be willy-nilly and,
Right, we do need
to develop.
a
to be
defining
on-
line between the insurance and that, so.
How many people were they expecting? I just don't know
they
why
said about 50.
why they just don't go to town hall.
I've
Really?
invited Karen Haynes to the conversation, to the person who submitted the application, so we can direct any questions to her.
Okay. So Karen, would you like to explain your understanding of this whole thing?
The way I envision this gathering is that we will have speeches in Triangle Park from Toastmaster dignitaries that we have invited. It's not going to be a long time, maybe a half an hour, maybe 4 people speaking, 10 minutes each, something like that. And then we would be adjourning to Riverside Park, just the entrance there where we would have cake and people would be mingling, networking, things like that. We will have maybe a few promotional items there for Toastmasters, but that's about it. We do have a banner for our club. We want to display that so people understand that it's our club that is celebrating, not the whole Toastmasters organization, because it is an international organization. It's quite large, but we are a part of it. And we just want people to recognize that we are here in the community. We offer leadership and communication skills to the community itself. There is no charge for this. This is just a gathering that the club is sponsoring. We don't intend on using any of the park facilities, possibly the shelter if the weather is not very reasonable, then we will gather there so that we don't have any problems with, since we're having cake, we don't want it to be exposed to the elements. And we haven't decided on whether, I think that just the cake will be there. That's it. That's the entire thing with food. And there, like I said, there's no charge. So it's pretty low key, just the community, to get the community involved.
So Rob, what should we do about this?
Well, I think you can vote on the merits of the event. And I'm working on the insurance issue now. I'm looking into that further.
Okay. So we can at least recommend that the council should approve this.
I would say so, yes.
Okay. Are you okay with that, Nancy? I mean, it seems like it's a fairly innocuous thing.
I'm sure that it is. And I think, maybe if it were just people, gathering and speaking, then that would be different. But when you start serving cake and, making more of a thing about it, then it is an event. In other words, I think if it were just people getting together and speaking about whatever they wish to, that's one thing, but you start serving cake, it becomes an event, and that's when, that's why you need a permit anyway. And we call for insurance. I mean, I don't know. I just happened to notice it I think yesterday. But like I say, we need to be consistent.
So if they just did their speeches at Triangle,
Well, again, it's not up to me. I mean, these are,
No, those are things we are looking into with that insurance issue.
these are I'm one vote. These are some of my concerns, my questions, my opinion. That's it. I mean, it's not, it's not up to me to pick and choose and decide and any of that stuff. So.
Karen,
Well-
have you thought about running town hall or not? I mean, I don't know, the organization.
Well, I mean, that's what I suggested, that the J.C.'s rent town hall to have
Right.
their dinner in.
Right.
This is something certainly a lot simpler, and they're not talking about putting up a tent, I don't think, right?
No
Karen?
tents.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, it's fine with me, but again, it's not up to me to decide to waive the rules. So, I mean, if we want to recommend it to council and let council decide what it wants to do, that's fine.
I think we should do that, and because this event is on June 1st. And, people are still concerned about being inside for, with large numbers of people.
Right, yeah.
That's why we're having it outside. That's why
Yeah.
we wanted to have it outside.
Do you have any concerns about too many people or too close together, stuff like that? I mean, if those rules are still in place, like thousands of people coming, I don't know.
Who knows what's going to happen?
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
do you expect that many people? I don't know.
No, 50 at the most.
Okay.
So I would like to make a motion that we recommend to council this use of Triangle, at least for the speeches, and possibly Riverside for the cake. Can someone second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. So Todd,
Yes.
Nancy,
Where's Jeff?
It
I
keeps
don't know.
popping up.
He's on the
I'm still
public
here.
line. He has to be let back.
Jeff's on, hold on. I
Yeah,
see Jeff. I'm moving you.
he got knocked out somehow.
He's coming.
there he is. Okay, let's take this vote again. All in favor? Aye.
All right.
Aye.
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 Great. So Karen, we'll be in touch with you, or Rob will, about the insurance issue, but you can at
Okay.
least have your speeches, so.
Great.
Yeah.
That's the important thing.
But it still has to be approved by council,
Sure.
and that will be next Monday.
Next Monday. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, our next item is the Valley Arts Center. They want to have tents, 5 to 6 tents set up in Triangle Park on June 13, July 11th, August 8th, September 12th, and October 10. And it will be during the farmer's market, but they will, I think you all saw the application. Their artists will come and they'll park on the west side of the triangle, or the east side of the triangle, unload, set up their tents, and then do it in reverse at the end. So this
I
is,
have a problem with them selling spaces in the park myself, and again, this kind of is adverse to the other retailers who do pay taxes in town, and we're having selling these spaces in the park. That's my take on it.
Yeah, I'm not finding that. Did we get that application as part of our email?
yes,
I apologize that I'm not finding it.
It's
Um,
saying art exhibitors selling original artwork in 10 by 10 white tents on those dates from 10 to 2.
they can't, yeah, I know. So they're probably thinking about the way they do
Art by the
Art
Falls.
by the Falls, where they sell tents. And then they assign the spaces to the tents.
Right.
So I need to look for this application. What are they asking to do? Sell
They
tents?
are saying artists will park on Main Street next to Triangle Park to load in and move to park in the municipal lot. Artists will park on Franklin Street to load out after the farmer's market shuts down.
So they're talking about doing it after the farmer's market closes?
Yes,
And they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dates. I mean, I know that obviously everybody lost money 2020 COVID, but I think there's just too many dates and selling spaces in the park. I understand that, you know, they can go back to doing this again next year, but I just have a problem with that many dates taking up.
And
it's only one Sunday a month.
A lot of dates.
Pardon me?
It's a lot of Sundays.
and
Yes,
they're talking about setting up tents in the triangle.
yes. No
Uh,
stakes.
I realize, but there's sprinklers that go off and stuff like that too.
I know, I thought about that.
So I don't know what, like, is it just a 1-day event on that Sunday or what?
It's 5 Sundays. June 13th, July 11th, August 8th, September 12th, October 10th.
I'm just bringing up sprinklers that no stakes and
Right.
But they set up like where the farmer's market tents are set up. Once the farmer's market folks clear out, they just go, we keep the street closed and they're right on the street.
No, they're talking about in the triangle itself
Okay.
from the layout that I saw.
Yeah, they're talking about in the triangle.
Okay. But that seems problematic because of sprinklers.
Are you worried, John, that they'll wreck the sprinkler heads? Or they're gonna get wet?
well, I don't know what time they're setting up and all that, but where are they gonna get water to fill their buckets? And again, we have to unlock stuff, so we have to participate and
Let's see, Valley Arts Center is from 10 to 2. Why do they need water?
how you gonna hold the tents down?
Oh, I don't know.
Sandbags or water, one of the two.
Mhm.
I don't know. I just have an issue with this is kind of a money-making proposition for the Valley Arts Center. And by selling the spaces in the park.
Karen Group would like to answer and speak on behalf of the Valley Arts Center as an employee. So hold on a moment.
Okay.
I will invite her to the conversation.
Greta, don't you have to go to your vaccine?
I'm driving.
Oh, okay, good.
Erin, could you clarify for us your role in this particular meeting?
Yeah, so I am here as an employee of the Valley Arts Center. I recently took a part-time job there, helping them with some of their marketing and some of the back-end coordination for the Art by the Falls. So the plan for this summer is, because large gatherings, we're just really not there, would be to deconstruct Art by the Falls, sort of return to the way it originally started. There would be probably 4 to 5 artists located on the hardscaping of the triangle. They would bring like weighted bags to secure the tents, just for wind stuff. Nothing would be staked into the ground. These are artists that were accepted into the 2020 Art by the Falls exhibit through the jury process. So these are not just random artists. And this is being done in conjunction with a 2-part summer-long exhibition up at the Valley Arts Center, where all of the jury artists will be able to have their artwork displayed in the gallery. So it's sort of it's a 2-part summer-long event. We're only looking at the second farmers market of the month, and that's kind of the short story of it. But you know, very minimal to no impact, obviously, to the park. We know we want to cause traffic, but not damage. So can I answer any questions? Anything I left out?
So the tents are just on the bricks.
Yeah, just on that
Oh.
bricks in the circle section.
So John, how does that sound to you?
That's
I
fine.
mean,
I didn't know if they were aware of no stakes and all that stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
So
So I'm doing the back end coordination, and then Allie Dean, who's been the longtime coordinator of Art by the Falls in the park, will be on site day of.
So, I mean, I don't see how this is any different from Art by the Falls in Riverside. I mean, they're selling their artistic wares, and I mean, it doesn't really compete with the merchants.
Yeah, and all of the standards in terms of items must be made by the artist, and they can't be using, there's like no reselling or like upcycle art. That's not what's permitted. It's kept to the standards, like higher standards, if you will.
So there was a mention of them parking on Triangle Park. And that would
No.
be just temporary.
Yeah, we've advised them that they can park on, Main Street, and then they need to move their cars to the parking lot. We told them that we don't want them parking there because we want to make sure that there's space available for people coming to the market.
Right. Well, are they going to set up during the market?
No, we've set up, the plan is to run only during the market hours, and we've told them they can't come more than an hour in advance, is what we will tell them.
Oh, so it's during the market, not after the market.
No, yeah, it's during, it's running, it's like coinciding with the market.
Okay.
I think it sounds fine. I'm in favor of it.
Yeah, as long as they don't leave there, because you don't want them taking up those good spaces from patrons.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, they won't. They'll go park in the plaza.
Yeah. Or wherever.
Yeah, other
Yeah.
public parking somewhere.
Right. So do we need any further discussion on this? Okay, then I'd like to make a motion that we recommend this to council.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm going to abstain on that.
Okay. Did Greta say yes?
I think we lost her.
She did,
Yes.
well,
Yeah.
I heard her say yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. All good.
Okay. Okay, so that we've passed that.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thanks for clarifying. Okay, the next item is Yoga by the Falls. It's the same as last year. It's 6 dates, 2 in June, 2 in July, 2 in August. I talked with Robin Peavy about social distancing, and last year she set up tapes.
Yeah, she
to
had
make,
rectangles, right?
yes.
Yeah.
She said she would prefer not to do that this year because it took her an hour to set it up. But she said, if the COVID statistics change, she's willing to do it again. So-
She doesn't have to do that. I thought it was nice that she did, but she doesn't have to. But
Yeah.
just, keep an eye on where people are placing themselves. That's all. She can do
Right.
make sure that they're kind of spaced out nicely.
Mhm. And they were last year. I
And
went
maybe-
once.
Maybe we won't have a problem by then, by the time she starts.
I
That
hope
would be
not.
nice.
It starts June 12th.
Yeah.
So any further discussion of this? Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we recommend to council that they approve this use for Yoga by the Falls.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 I,
I have to abstain because I work there.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay, then the next one is the Chagrin Documentary Film Festival, which is taking place October 5 to 10. They're estimating 500 to 750 people over 5 days. They want to set up an LED screen at the entrance to Riverside Park that will run 24/7. And they also want to set up lights on the falls by the dam. It's the same as it's been in previous years.
is Marianne, I think she's muted.
Is
anyway.
Marianne here? Oh, good.
I'm not sure her name's on the screen, but.
Yeah.
Marianne, there she comes.
There you-
Hi, Marianne.
You're
You're
muted.
muted.
I
You're
need you to
muted.
unmute,
Okay.
Please.
Ah,
Sorry.
there.
I'm on my phone in my car on the way to this meeting. So, but I'm stopped. I'm not driving. So,
Okay.
yeah. Hi.
So I was saying to everybody, it's pretty much the same as last year, what you're asking to do.
Correct.
mean-
Yes. Yeah, pretty
And-
much. Yeah, pretty much the same.
Okay.
Yeah. And the film, I mean, last year was the first time we had actual films scheduled at different times because of the pandemic. And that proved to be a big hit. So we would like to do that again. It's just free and open, but we felt like people really enjoyed it.
They did.
Yeah, and we have spoken. I talked to our tech company. They told me they turned down the volume in the evening through the night, but apparently they must have either missed a night or something. But we can commit that the volume will from the speakers will be turned down.
Great.
You know, at a reasonable hour and then through the night
Thank
as
you.
well.
We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any further questions or discussion on this? Okay, then I'd like to make a motion that we recommend to council that this application be approved. Can
Second.
someone second
Second.
that?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Excellent. So
Thank you.
council will approve this next Monday,
Thank
I
you.
hope. Okay, thanks, Marianne.
Bye. Thank you.
Aye.
Okay, the final item on our agenda comes from Angie DiBernardo and the Facilities and Services, which Nancy is a part of too. And they have been meeting to try to figure out a way to create an application for holiday decorations from November 5th through January 15, so that we can control how they're laid out and priorities too. And so they're still working on the application, but Angie has created 3 views of Bell Street, Triangle, and Riverside to show where we would allow holiday decoration setup. And Christy is able to screen share this. So Christy, if you could put that on the screen, then everybody can see that.
Are you, what are you asking me to project again, Ann, please?
The 3 plans for the parks for holiday decorations.
I have the ones from the old ones, but not the new ones.
You
would-
don't? Okay, well, I sent them to all of you yesterday.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me look. I think Rob may have them as well. Give me a moment.
Okay. But I mean, everybody on the commission received that email yesterday that shows the layouts. Bell Street Park is just considered one area. So
Rob, you're.
that's
muted.
why, that's,
I do not have that email, so if you could share, that'd be wonderful.
I've got them, they're 3 separate images, so I have to upload them here and then I can screen share. So bear with,
We had the decorations in Bell Street, have we?
we haven't, but there are some groups that are interested in having a dreidel, a menorah, maybe a nativity scene. So we're trying to accommodate. So here's the one for Triangle Park. And where you see the red X's, those will not be available to other groups because the J.C.'s have their big tree there and the decorations at the bandstand.
Right.
But T2 and T4 would be available.
And nothing would be going on the walks, correct?
correct.
T2 is right in the
Not
middle.
that I know of. I
Well,
mean,
one of the-
last year,
One of the requirements is they cannot block any walkway
Yeah,
because
That's
it's
right in the
mobile and pedestrian access.
so what about the sleigh last year? Wasn't that partly on the walkway or not?
It's in the circle area, I think.
No,
Okay,
it was right by the big tree.
yeah,
okay.
just off.
But that's fine. Okay, so that's Triangle.
Okay, give me a sec here. I'll switch views.
Okay, and Bell Street is just considered one area because it's so small. And here's Riverside. So where you see the green checks, those would be places where decorations could be placed. R1.
R3 is the parking lot, isn't it? No. Okay, the parking.
No,
Right there along the side. Okay.
R1 is marked with a red X because that's where the Santa mailbox goes. And we
Right.
don't want anything heavy on that plaza there. But R2 is where the valley, the township had their trees last year.
But we're not doing that next year, correct?
I certainly hope not. I really hope they can do that back in Township Hall.
I would
But it
think.
still has to be available as a possibility for
You can
someone who
apply
wants to
for it.
have. Pardon me?
They can apply for it.
Yeah. Then R3 is the grassy area. You know, right by the parking lot.
Mhm.
Just one thing, they're gonna need to give us room to push snow up over there, so they can't be close to the parking lot.
Yeah, part of the requirements is that, you know, whenever anyone proposes a decoration in any of these areas, they'll have to work with or touch base with the village on what they're proposing and where. We would have that communication to make sure there'd be no conflicts.
Okay,
Okay. Then R7, well, let me go to R5. R5 is the walkway, and there's some talk about maybe somebody putting candy canes along there. I have no idea if that's a real request, but it could be a
I don't know what they're
possibility.
Talking about, I think it was like a possibility.
Yeah,
That might be a thing to do. I don't
Yes.
think Anybody really asked to do that.
correct.
And,
Then-
and for all of these spaces, people are gonna have to apply to use them still. I mean, there's still gonna be an application process. And,
Right.
you know, look at what's being proposed and so forth.
And that's what Facilities and Services is working on right now,
Yes.
to write an application.
Yes.
Some of these are gonna need to be lit, need electric, I would imagine that we're not gonna have some of them, say, be flashing or strobe or, you know,
Well,
there's.
yeah, right, that's, yeah. I mean, that'll be part of what we look at when somebody proposes something.
Right.
These are just the areas
Areas that can be used.
that
Got it.
can be,
Right.
used. So when somebody, you know, and, you know, there'll be an application and a discussion of what they're gonna put in there. So, yeah, I mean, that would not be permitted, more than likely.
So the difference here is just getting more organized about what the zones are that could
Yes.
then have
Yeah.
people apply to use a specific zone.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay.
or maybe several people, depending on, you know, maybe a couple groups would reserve some area and do something, you know, groups, or if somebody has a small project for one of them, somebody else could use part of the space also. We don't know. We're just trying to set the parameters of what can
Areas.
happen.
Right.
R7 is where the old skating shelter is, and the J.C.'s usually decorate that. And some of the trees around there. Then R9, as you can see, is the library walkway. And that was just designated as a possibility for some sort of decoration. So it's organized. I think it's a good thing. And this would be from November 5th to January 15th. The application process would take place in June. Isn't that right, Nancy?
I
From
think
June 1st to the 30th.
that we'll set an opening and closing time.
Right. So it depends on how many applications come in. If there are more than they're in the number of spaces, then are you going to have some sort of a lottery?
I don't know. We haven't really.
That's what-
Yeah.
I don't think we haven't
That's what
decided
was
anything like
discussed
that.
in the concept.
Pardon me?
That's what was discussed in the concept, is it'd be an
Yeah.
open application period, and then if we had competition over this, also, we look at what people are proposing. If they're proposing something very small, maybe both applications could fit in the same area, depending on what's proposed, but, you know, we'll have to see. I mean, we only had one inquiry on decorations other than what the J.C.'s have done normally for the village.
Well, I think this is a good idea. I'm glad Facilities and Services is doing this. You have a meeting tomorrow to talk about it. I can't do that because beautification is cleaning up the garden beds and
Right, I know, it's at the same time.
yeah. So this isn't anything that we have to recommend to council. It's just mainly an FYI for us.
I think so.
Yeah. So at the next Parks meeting, Nancy, then we'll have more of a determined application and process.
Yeah, I would certainly hope so, yes.
Okay.
And maybe, you know, a refinement of this, and if you know, this is, you know, public document, people can comment on it if, you know, and if you guys want to comment further, when you take a better look at it, you know, email the committee or text us or something if you have questions.
Well, I have emailed all of this to you. I emailed it yesterday because Angie just sent it to me yesterday. So you all have Angie's letter and these
I'm
diagrams.
talking about if you guys have any, after you look at this for a while, I know it was a lot to look at. If you have questions, you know, email the committee and, you know, we can talk about them, or, you know, come to the meeting tomorrow.
Oh, one thing that you did talk about that I forgot to mention is signage, which is sort of a, you know, an issue.
It is. Yeah.
But in this one paragraph of Angie, she says, our current thinking on signage is that we would like to see no more than a single sign per application, and that this sign must be smaller than 8.5 by 11 and located within 2 feet of the ground. These could be useful for safety notices or attribution to the group that provided the display, although we cannot legally control the content. We can regulate the location, number, and size of the allowed signage.
Thought we didn't allow signage.
That's why I'm saying that's a
we
controversial
don't.
thing.
Yeah.
And so, and that's, some of us on the committee think we should have no signs at all.
Right.
So if we did allow them.
There might be a difference too between an advertising type sign and a sign relating to the safety of the item, like please stay off of decoration, or, you know, if there's a message as part of the decoration, like happy holidays or something.
We can't review the message on a sign.
Right.
But we can determine, one of the things about a sign is that we can decide the size and the placement of it. So if it's very small, and also can say that the placement can only be in conjunction with the particular display. So that would make sure, well, so people wouldn't be able to just say, oh, I can just stick a sign in the park any place. It has to be in connection, with the particular display.
Mhm.
And then it would leave with the display. So it's sort of more part of the display than anything else. But that's still up in the air. I mean, my vote is for no signs. But I'm
I
usually.
think mine is too, but
So.
Same
but
here.
that's-
I had a real problem with the chamber trees in R2 last year, because to me, that
Mhm.
seemed a lot more like advertising and merchandising.
Right.
Yes, we did.
And
Yeah, so I mean, these are just suggestions, again, from facilities. We haven't, finalized
yeah,
what we think we want to recommend to council and have finalized as rules, so.
We're
okay,
also-
well, thank you.
We're also
I-
looking at items such as electrical service and insurance liability if there's an electrical plug-in style concern. So there's a few other things we're still investigating as well.
And charge for electricity too for some of these, so. Yeah, so we're not going to have extension cords strung all over the park.
Right.
So those are all things that we're all reviewing. But again, if you have, after reading all this material, if you have other questions, send an email to the committee or any one of us. Rob, Christie, they'll get it to us.
Or you.
Well, I'm on the committee, so yeah.
Yeah, that's
any
what I mean.
One of
Yeah.
us on the committee, yeah.
Okay,
After you look at everything and read everything more carefully, and you just got it, and it's long.
Is there any ordinance about stringing electrical cables throughout the parks? Rob?
I don't think we have an ordinance about it. I think that's, I know that when it comes to.
Reality wise,
I know when we've had other events, like when we have Blossom come in, we have, part of their application is to have insurance. So we have our village electrical inspector come and inspect all plug-ins, all distribution throughout that to ensure that
Right.
everything's per code. So that's something we're gonna have to look at again with any proposed decoration. Normally, we don't allow cords to go over walkways or areas, especially in the winter season where we have our snow removal equipment going
Right.
over pathways too. There could be a real issue. It could fray a cord and then somebody could walk by.
Yeah.
So those are the types of concerns we're looking into and how to include that in this application. Kind of new territory.
Okay,
there's an electrical cord in the flower bed right next to the hardware store that's been there all winter long, and I don't understand why it's there. And also some kind of flexible tubing. Does that have anything to do with the service department, John?
No, this is the first time I heard of it, and it might be from the JC still.
Yeah, I kind of think it is.
I mean, what you have to consider too, what they're putting these decorations alongside of the walkway. I'm bringing this up, but we have to blow our snow somewhere, either left or right.
Mhm.
And it all depends on the wetness of the snow or
Yeah,
how fluffy it is. So I don't want the village being responsible for us doing our job and making the walkway safe.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
talking about
yeah.
things alongside, he blows it towards the river. So
Yeah.
this is part of our
Thank you for
job that
that.
we have to make things clear, but we got to utilize the space that we have. And when we get blocked off with stuff, I just want to let you know.
Yeah, thanks.
And I'm going to have to go. I don't know if there's any more votes.
No, there aren't any more votes. There are just discussions.
Okay, good. Sorry, I have to go.
That's okay.
Okay.
I'm glad you were here.
Yeah,
Yep,
thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, Jeff. Okay, the next thing is, I just want to understand about the installation of the new brick walk along the river in Riverside. Because I understand that you're wanting to make it a straight line
Mhm.
and go around the south side of the playground.
No,
But aren't there regulations about how close a hard surface like that can be next to a playground?
we'll be looking into that in the design phase of the project.
Okay. Because right now, there's not enough room to, I mean, you're gonna have to build up more soil there, it seems to me.
Yeah, that's what we'll be looking at
Okay,
as we get into the design part of that further.
okay. And I also had in that same item, the restoration of the Riverside Park turf. I don't know how to think about that, because if the carnival is gonna come in October, is it worth it to do any work on the grass this summer? John?
Yeah, you have to. You need turf to go into healthy so it will revive
Okay,
quicker if you have an event. If you have something in poor condition, you're not gonna come out of
okay.
it easy.
Good point, John.
So that's,
So that has to be scheduled after the installation of the new walkway, right?
yeah, that won't be, this walkway won't be for some time, so
Yeah, that's not gonna be till later in the summer.
we're trying to get the park in shape just to have people walk through, that it's not on dirt and all this stuff. And now's the time where we're gonna
Okay.
start jumping on that. And
Because right now, the geese don't even want to be in the middle of the park. There's nothing to eat.
That's a good
So
thing.
they've been in our backyards.
Oh,
The Baumans have an owl that floats around to try to scare them away, but. Okay, the next thing I wanted to ask about is new mulch in the Riverside Park playground area. Right now, underneath the swings, they're like deep trenches.
we haven't got to that point yet. I know we just had a request. You saw it too, Rob, somebody that has a handicapped person, something for a swing. And I don't know what type of swing is for a handicapped person that we don't provide in the park, but we're starting to go through our parks.
Okay.
It's early this year and we're still plugging along,
Yeah, I know. You guys work really hard.
you know, and I don't have summer help here yet and all that, and we're on to some other bigger projects that we started and we were held off from the winter, and now we're back at it again. So,
I saw Matt was working in the library walkway the other day. He
Yeah.
did a nice job. There's still some weeds left, but he got the worst out.
yeah, he's probably coming in every day for the most part to get them
That's-
prepped so we can get that, all the beds mulched, and
Yeah,
pulled a lot of POs, Rob. He signed a lot of POs to get things rolling here, so.
Yep.
yeah, well, we're hoping to have all the beds cleaned out tomorrow and all the gardens and bump outs. And if we get time, we're gonna start cutting back the knockout roses too. Because they're already leafing out.
Mhm.
So sometime, well, that's a whole different discussion, but I have to talk to you about fertilizer.
Okay. I gotta
Then
get,
the last item I have here is an update on Grove Hill Park design. Nancy, have you had any further meetings about that? You're muted.
We have not had anything further. We're supposed to meet at the park one day in April. It's the beginning of April. So, I mean, the weather's just so on and off. So I imagine, Christie or somebody will set up a meeting for us. Quite a few people to get together too, so.
Is Craig Carr's gonna be at that meeting?
I don't know. I would hope so.
Yeah,
Likely, yep.
okay, we're now down to miscellaneous. Does anybody have anything else? Okay, so our next meeting is Wednesday, May 5th.
Okay.
Thank you all very much. We got a lot done.
okay.
all right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye,
Yeah.
guys.
Bye.
Have a good
Thanks,
day.
Ann, for all your hard work and attention to detail. Nancy and Todd, same to you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank Thank you for resending everything I lose.
Yes.
Glad you got it.
Thank you. Yeah, I did.
Got it.
Thanks.
Nancy, I will.
Okay,
I'll also include the park event applications in the council packet. So you don't need to do that. I'm going to handle that for you, just so you know.
Oh, well, yeah, good. That would be great.
Yep, I'll do that on your behalf, just so it'll just be part of the council packet that I email out on Fridays.
Okay, and then hold off on the facilities stuff till we're done tomorrow. Maybe we might
Yeah.
change some of it, you know what I mean?
Yes,
And
yes.
do it after tomorrow, okay?
Yep.
Is that, yeah, okay, thank you.
I'll wait till that meeting to determine what from that meeting needs to get included as well. You got it.
That would be terrific, thank you.
Perfect. Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.